So for game 2 between Gustavvinho and Lowerty, we have Pilgrims picked as Lowerty's home map. He's with Koreans for this one, takes the loads up the ship here, drops a lumber camp actually on the main island, so commits to some lumber collection here while taking the ship to land and hopefully gathering enough wood along the way to drop a TC on the mainland here like as soon as possible. See the wood lines here. It's a very open mainland here actually for this Pilgrims generation. Sometimes you could see the woodlands covering almost everything, but lots of points of entry here, so you don't really wall out any enemy landings here. I don't think it's barely even possible. See Gustavvinho landing as well. Did also go for the lumber camp to begin with, and none of them with a dock just yet, which is kind of surprising to me that you wouldn't want to try and get that fish going early on. But here comes the TC of Gustavvinho. Where's Lowerty gonna go here? Find some... oh, wow. No. Bails on that one. Doesn't want to get that. Wow. Alright. So, okay, so we have 5 villagers building here for Gustavvinho, and we have 4 for Lowerty. I mean, you can't villager fight before minute 5. So that's not necessarily an issue, but the players are dangerously close here. But Lowerty at least collecting the food source here. And then, but TC is up first for Gustavvinho. That's going to make a difference as well. Once we're past the 5-minute mark, you could villager fight, you could do this or that, and Gustavvinho immediately react with some house walling here, but or some needed houses for population space, obviously as well. But kind of walling himself out here. It could be a conscious choice by Lowerty here to build it so close so as to deny expansion of Gustavvinho here, because if Gustavvinho tries to go this way, he's gonna run into TC Fire. If he tries to go this way, he's gonna run into TC Fire. And if then Lowerty walls off this section, Gustavvinho will have to transport to get somewhere else around the map here. So it could be the reasoning behind it to try and deny what's happening here. Actually, I like that they are not docking the mainland, but docking the shore here instead, because there's such much shorter traveling distance to the deep fish here. This is my first ever game on Pilgrims. Ah, nice. Yeah, I don't know how to play it either. I just wanted it in the pool for a Nomad start and for some potentially interesting games, because I think many players haven't really played it a lot. Looks like Lowerty is off to a decent start, though did snag all of these geese from Gustavvinho, so that's going to limit Gustavvinho's food income. Might even struggle for food here for the production. Has 7 on food, but this one's gonna run out, and then shorefish and deep fish will take a little bit of time to kick in. There's, as you can see, lots of food sources still to take, though. Lots of geese on land here, spread out across the map. But you'd have to be careful of wolves as well, as they stay in packs of 2 here. So you don't want to run out without loom for sure. Gustavvinho has loom. That's probably due to having an idle TC lacking food here. And then a couple of woodchoppers still left on the homeland. He didn't transport his sheep, I think. Well, you stole them, didn't you? Lowerty. I mean, literally all of these sheep were right next to Gustavvinho's TC while he was building it, so sneaky steal there. A little bit of laming, but that's perfectly allowed. And here's the transport actually with the sheep here from both players. Again, but Lowerty is gonna snag these as well, so stealing all the food he can get here. Yeah, alright. So I don't think we'll have any huge Dark Age event. Gustavvinho now with villager lead here. Could that be fish and chips maybe? 3 fish and chips against 3... No, it's an actual villager lead. That's actually kind of surprising to me here, but maybe he did get the TC up earlier. So that's probably the main point here. We have Koreans versus Byzantines here. Koreans want to try and find stone. I'm sure there's a stone patch over here for Lowerty to take, and then you could tower rush Gustavvinho here and make life awkward for Gustavvinho, who is simply walling himself in completely here now. Going for a little bit of scouting, going to find maybe some food sources over here now, finding some geese and those kinds of things. Whereas Lowerty may be thinking about archers here, because here comes the barracks drop. And gold right next to TC, alright. Could be seeing some naval fighting as well as we go on. They both should be aware of their dock positions. Yeah. Alright, here we go. 4 villagers moving forward-ish, and nobody wants to tower the escape here first. And Gustavvinho's reaction is walling the section here, so the villagers may not be able to escape later on. Some sheep killing here as well. Don't want any of the... Don't want the opponent to have the advantage of more free food here. Tower should go up though, and then you wall that in, and Gustavvinho is in a pickle here in terms of securing the villagers around the TC1 tower here. There's not much Gustavvinho can do by walling off like this, and another few towers maybe on the edge here, outside of TC range. May not reach the woodline though, but I don't love this TC position, but that's probably just to rush it up to get villager production going and to move on. 23 on wood here now, that should certainly facilitate docks and fish production as we're seeing here, so it looks like a good food income for Gustavvinho here now, with 15 on food and the rest on wood here, and a third dock going up. So but at the cost of not necessarily having gold access here, at least not on the mainland. Gustavvinho could transport back here to take this gold though. Yeah, it's easy to transport vills, but it wouldn't be if the red player here, Lowerty, had gone as heavily onto water, because then Lowerty would be controlling water as well, and Gustavvinho wouldn't be able to escape. Oh, actually, Gustavvinho did find some gold here. May have transported some bills over here. I didn't realize that that was the case. Saw some scouting a while ago. Byzantines should have an easy time defending on water as well, considering their faster firing rate for their fire galleys. And Gustavvinho's golden wood eco certainly should make it easy to outmass Lowerty's one dock here, so shouldn't be a problem. There we go, a few leashes in, and immediately queuing fire galleys out of 3 docks here. Faster firing Byzantines fire galleys shouldn't be a problem at all. This tower isn't really doing much for Lowerty here. It's simply denying expansion on land, but then there's the water control for Gustavvinho that will allow expansion to all sides of the map here. So nice scouting intel being gathered by the villager here as well. Lowerty on the way to the castle edge might be an issue. Could easily siege push this TC with rams and mangonels and whatnot. So that's something to keep in mind, but on the other hand, we had the blacksmith market going up for Gustavvinho as well, with a massive builder lead that is mainly fishing ships, but also an effective 7 villagers lead as well. I think once the buildings are up, once the smith is up, that's going to be the castle edge click for Gustavvinho here. And let's see what Lowerty's idea might be in the next stage here. We'll be getting guard towers for free, so that's again going to have some more range and damage output for the towers. Gustavvinho, of course, now taking water back with the faster firing and larger numbers of galleys here. Meanwhile, archery range being dropped on land here, and a barracks for Gustavvinho. Maybe going to drop that range for defensive skirms as well. And there we have the castle edge in for Lowerty right now. Still, aside from water, having eco rather untouched here. Has some fishing ships over here by the main base, and is taking a little bit of stone on the main island actually. Nice mining camp actually to make multi-purpose use here for both golds and stones here. It's actually close enough to justify that. Yeah, last dock will be going down for Lowerty. That means full water control for Gustavvinho. And look at all the fish that you could take here. It's just, yeah, it's pretty huge to control water on this map. Half of the map is water, and you'd have endless amounts of fish here for the food eco. Look at Gustavvinho's fish numbers here. We have 14 active fishing ships against what it would now be 0. But it says 3 for Lowerty here, actually going back on water. But if Gustavvinho scouts this, that dock won't be very, or that dock will be very short-lived here, to put it that way. We have some battle events on land, some Korean towers now denying Gustavvinho of gold here. And actually these villagers don't really have an escape, just a couple of just a gate here or something to keep them out, and then you have 5 almost useless villagers for Gustavvinho over here. Shouldn't matter too much when you have a 20 villagers lead though. Some expansion on going here for Gustavvinho as well. Crossbows chasing, they have +2/+2. Defense kicks in immediately for Koreans. But then there's the Bodkin arrows in as well, and maybe trying to neglect some expansion for this villager here of Gustavvinho chasing it. It goes down mainly to wolves here, but the TC down here, the transport has made sure that villagers could get here and drop a new TC. Villagers will be going down here, but again, look at the numbers here, 54 to 37. Still a massive population and eco lead for Gustavvinho here. Lowerty has a decent grasp of the map as well. There's some good line of sight on the units here. As for the villagers, that's what is +2 line of sight for Koreans, +3 line of sight actually for Korean villagers. So you could almost justify committing a couple of villagers just to scout the rest of the map to have a good grasp of where the neutral resources are. Like this gold, for example, would be a fantastic TC spot right here or over here. And we see Gustavvinho dropping TCs now. It's going to be the 3rd TC. And as the woodline runs out here, I'm guessing Gustavvinho will be abandoning this TC and just transporting villagers to safer locations. Doesn't need to worry about dropping TC near the shoreline here, because Gustavvinho has massive control over water now already. Looks like Cataphracts might be in the line of thinking for Gustavvinho here, because going heavily onto stone would of course be providing good offensive capabilities as well. If you could get a castle up, for example, in the area around here. But there are towers protecting this TC, of course, so it's not as easy to get to, but would still be a very strong offensive measure in the Castle Age. Crossbows on the move for Lowerty again, though, going to get more villager pickouts here, but with that water control, there's still going to be a stronger eco in the back of this for Gustavvinho. Is now up almost 30 villagers, so losing a few to crossbows aggression isn't really a big deal. Ship actually went down there. Lowerty has gone into fire ship here now with Koreans. From the dock that is now history, I guess. So still no docks for Lowerty for what I see. Did take out one ship here, but will most certainly be losing that one warship right now. Ranged units 12, siege units 1. Where's that siege? Has to be a mangonel somewhere. Mangonel protected by a guard tower here to take out at least this TC of Gustavvinho. Scores pretty similar actually, but that could be the eco of Gustavvinho and then the KD and military numbers for Lowerty playing in here. The CC looks to be going down. Lowerty with some nice expansion here though, going to drop a castle here in the middle of these two golds, effectively denying those of Gustavvinho. Must have some idea about the expansion here as well, having had crossbows here earlier. So that should be good. Sees the castle foundation here though, could try and deny it with the crossbows. Will certainly mean some dead villagers for Gustavvinho, but with 90 villagers building, that will eventually go up, I think. Unless Lowerty wants to try and contest that, goes for a castle a little bit further behind instead, which is fine. Wow, Gustavvinho actually bails on that castle, considering that there are crossbows and the mangonels in the mix. That foundation might go down in a way, but extending that villager lead, it's still only 1 TC producing for Lowerty, only 1 TC overall. And siege being added on the other side here by Gustavvinho, so they're both adding military to try and contest enemy buildings here. Crossbows doing work though, they are Korean crossbows, with that instant armor upgrade they are tougher to take out even with siege. And with a couple of mangonels pushing here, Gustavvinho will lose some precious land eco here. So from the looks of it, Gustavvinho has full water control, but Lowerty has the most land control here. So we could be seeing the efforts swinging back and forth here. So 1 TC will be going down here. Gustav out of gold. Well, he has a gold spot over here though. So, but yeah, it's not collecting any gold for the time being. Villager numbers though is still 30 villager lead here for Gustavvinho. That's obviously mostly water eco, but crossbows making short work of a lot of villagers here. So good land pressure from Lowerty here overall. Here come 4 mangonels to pressure this TC as well. So Gustavvinho might risk losing all of the land presence here. TC is up here from Lowerty and some guard towers to protect. No way for Gustavvinho to claim anything here. This TC finally went down as well, and now Lowerty is somehow back on water. Where is the dock? Is this one still alive just because it wasn't killed over here by patrol earlier? That's one hero fire ship right there, still alive. And Gustavvinho losing all of the land presence and being cramped up in the corners gets punished for the expansion so close to their shoreline because it makes for choke point for archers and siege to push from. It was huge of Lowerty to deny the defensive castle of Gustavvinho here though, because if that had gone up, then Lowerty could never push with mangonels and crossbows here. So Gustavvinho calls it at... It's still having a villager lead, but eco doesn't look too bright here. No gold access save for this area here, but there are a couple of war wagons here to deny that as well. Great play from Lowerty here, taking land control, even losing all of the water access here. So great comeback, I would say, from the opening here, and should take the score to 1-1 now. Pretty massive KD here, 43 to 14. Mostly crossbows dealing great damage there. Eco weaker for Lowerty, especially the food eco not having fish, but still taking the win here. And with the faster uptimes overall, maybe paid off as well with that free guard tower for Koreans. 81 to 53, and then there's the timeline to show roughly equal army masses here, but some of that on water for Gustavvinho, so not really applicable for the overall picture here.